On the 7th of March, 9 days into the war with Iran, Nigel Farage's favourite president sat down and wrote a message to the British Prime Minister on social media. The UK had been considering sending 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East to help out, and Donald Trump wanted to be very clear about what he thought about the offer. That's okay, Prime Minister Starmer, we don't need them any longer, but we will remember. We don't need people that join wars after they've already won. We don't need people that join wars after they've already won. Keep that in mind. 4 days later, Trump is in Kentucky at a rally. He's talking about the war, and he says this: "Let me say, we've won. You never like to say that too early on that you've won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over." In the first hour. Over, won, done, finished, go home. So here we are. The war is won, the Allies are told to stay out, job done. Except the Strait of Hormuz is shut. Now, the strait is a narrow stretch of water between Iran and Oman. Before the war, around 138 ships passed through it every single day, carrying roughly a fifth of the world's entire oil supply. As of now, that number is down to fewer than 5 ships a day. The tankers aren't moving because Iran's made it extremely clear what happens to tankers that try. At least 16 commercial vessels have been attacked in the region since the start of the war. The result is pretty straightforward. Before the war, a barrel of oil cost around $70. It's now over $100, the highest it's been since Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. American petrol prices are up around 70 cents a gallon since February. Diesel is nearly $5. Analysts are warning that if the strait stays shut for another few weeks, we could be looking at $135 a barrel. Trump's response to oil hitting $100, by the way, was to post on Truth Social that it was a very small price to pay and that only fools would think differently. Now, midterm elections in America are in November. Republicans need to hold the House and the Senate, and right now, every time an American pulls into a petrol station, they're being reminded in real time of exactly what this war is costing them. That's not a great political position to be in. Trump started a war without telling any of his allies it was coming, declared victory before anything was resolved, and the strait shut down. Prices spiked, and now he needs a way out that doesn't look like he's losing. Which brings us to today.
They won't be there. I was very surprised with the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom, 2 weeks ago, I said, why don't you send some ships over? And he really didn't want to do it. I said, you don't want to do it. We've been with you. You're our oldest ally. And we spend a lot of money on, NATO and all of these things to protect you. I mean, we're protecting them. We're working with them on Ukraine. Ukraine's thousands of miles away, separated by a vast ocean. We don't have to do that, but we did it. Well, Biden did it. I mean, I have to be honest with you. Biden got taken to the cleaners. But we worked with them in Ukraine. We don't need to work with them in Ukraine. And then they tell us that we have a mine ship around, and they don't want to do it. I think it's terrible. No, I was very surprised. I told him, we requested 2 aircraft carriers, which they had, and he didn't really want to do it. And then right after the war essentially ended, meaning they were obliterated, he said, I would like to send the aircraft carriers. I said, I don't need them after the war has ended and won. I need it before the war. So I was very upset not upset, I was not happy with the UK. I think they'll be involved, yeah, maybe. But they should be involved enthusiastically. We've been protecting these countries for years with NATO, because NATO is us. You can ask Putin. Putin fears us. He has no fear of Europe whatsoever. He fears the United States of America and the military that was built by me in the first term. Yeah.
Keir Starmer consulted his cabinet before committing British military assets to an active war zone, a war zone that America created, that Britain was explicitly told to stay out of, in a conflict that America started without consulting any of its allies, and the President of the United States is now publicly mocking him for it. Let's just be absolutely clear what Trump is asking for here. He wants Britain to send ships to the strait where Iran has already attacked 16 vessels, where maritime insurers won't cover ships because the risk is too high, where the US Energy Secretary said that only last week that America itself was not ready to provide naval escorts. He wants Britain to do that, and he wants Starmer to do it without even speaking to his own cabinet first. And if Starmer doesn't, well, we will remember. So it all really comes down to the midterms not looking very comfortable for Trump. With petrol prices spiking at 70 cents a gallon, Trump needs allies to clean up the mess so that he can declare it over and go home. And when the British Prime Minister consults his team before sending ships into that mess, a mess he didn't create or a conflict he was told to stay out of, Trump goes onto camera to make him look weak. I'm pretty sure there's a word for someone like Trump who breaks your window and tells you you're not allowed to help fix it and then publicly humiliates you for not offering to fix it fast enough. I'll let you come up with your own. Now, if it was me, I would tell him to do one. It's his mess, so you can sort it out. But the strait needs to open, not for Trump and not for Britain, but because 20% of the world's oil supply passes through it, and every day it stays shut is another day that the energy prices go up for ordinary people here and everywhere else. Britain has a genuine national interest in getting that waterway open again. So does almost every other developed economy on the planet. That is why any serious government would engage with this carefully, would build a coalition, would consult its partners, would think before it commits its navy to a live conflict zone. That is not weakness. That is what adults do. The man mocking Keir Starmer for doing exactly that is the same man who told us to stay out of it because he'd already won. In the first hour, it was over. It's now week 3.